The Toronto Blue Jays have got kind of a new building. Major renovations to the Rogers Centre took place in the offseason. And you may have seen a lot of pictures going around on social media, videos during the broadcast as well. And I'm really pleased to be joined by Andrew Paris. Andrew is the coach lead for equity, diversity, inclusion, and mentorship for the Canadian Sport Institute Atlantic. Andrew, thanks for being here. What was it like actually being in the Rogers Centre and witnessing those renovations firsthand?
Thanks for having me, Scott. It was actually more cool than I thought it would be. It's really turned the Rogers Centre into more of a social gathering. Of course, going into the ball games always social, always hanging out with your friends. But now, I think with the renovations, they really did a great job with encouraging everyone to take in the social aspect, go to different parts of the center during the ball game, and really take it in with your buddies on top of watching some great baseball.
You see lots of different images, the rooftop patio, that area in the visitors' bullpen where seating now is basically right on top of the bullpen, and you can actually hear and chat with, if you like, with the visiting relief pitchers warming up. What are one or two of the new additions and the renovations that really caught your eye?
The two that really caught my eye were the bullpens, like you said. The fans are right on top of both the home and visitors' bullpen. So that was really cool and really interesting to get to see firsthand as the Rays were warming up the other night. And the other part, too, were the number of new bars around the arena where you can just grab a drink and never lose sight of what's happening with the ball game. So you get by your seat, grab a drink, but you're never missing what's going on. So I really appreciate both of those.
Now, I'm a foodie, and I like to try different kinds of food. One that I saw on a broadcast was a poutine hot dog. But for you, did you try any of the stadium food there? And if you did, what was the one that you kind of liked the most?
I did try the poutine hot dog. Again, just like the renovation cells, it was a lot better than I thought it would be. If you're a poutine fan, you'll definitely love their new hot dog. And we actually had a few hot dogs, but they have a specific area over in the right field corner where like hot dogs are all the rage there, if you will.
I am a huge fan of poutine. I've got to dig a little deeper now. What made it so good? Because it does look delicious, but you've tried it. What makes it so good?
When you think about poutine hot dogs, you think it wouldn't make the greatest tasting combination, if you will. But the gravy and the cheese on top of the hot dog, it's actually a lot better than you might think. Even if you're not the biggest poutine fan in the whole wide world, I encourage you to try it the next time you head up to the Rogers Centre.
Yeah, I think I would almost make a trip now specifically just to have that poutine hot dog. And I know as well, early in the season, the Rogers Centre roof has been open. You saw the Friday night game, the game that the Blue Jays broke the streak, the undefeated streak to start the season for the Tampa Bay Rays. What's it like being in there with the roof open and being able to look up and see the night sky and the CN Tower and everything like that?
I can't tell you enough just how nice the weather was up in Toronto last week. When we initially got tickets to the game, we didn't anticipate having the roof open, but the high that day, it was in the mid-20s. So the fact that the roof was open was fantastic. By the time the ball game had started, it was down to 16, 17 degrees. The weather was perfect. The Rogers Centre was buzzing because, of course, the Rays were coming in on that 13-game winning streak. The atmosphere felt more like a mid-July game than a game early in the season. Between that and the renovations, it's an absolutely awesome game for sure.
Something else as well. I've never been to a Blue Jays game live. I've never been to the Rogers Centre. But you hear fans and players alike talk about the atmosphere when the crowd is really into it and something happens and the crowd just erupts all at once. That was a big game Friday night. The Jays got the big win. What's it like being there, Andrew, when that 40,000 plus group of fans gets together all at once in crescendo and goes up into a cheer? What's that feeling like?
It's really awesome. And in fact, with that game in particular, because we've been to a few games last year as well, there was a buzz as we were just waiting to get into the stadium. And then, of course, the buzz it lifts and lifts and lifts. And then with that game in particular, if you go back and look at the highlights, George Springer hit a solo shot right off the bat in the bottom of the first. And then it was just electric. Everybody on their feet. One of the things that Rogers Center does that I really enjoy is there's a bit of a light show when the Blue Jays hits a home run. But from then on, everybody was on their feet. It was electric right up through Romano going in the game to close things out. It's a really cool atmosphere, and the changes just add to it.
Well, Andrew, we appreciate you taking some time to share your real world experience being at Rogers Center, seeing the new dimensions, seeing all the new additions and renovations. It's great to hear from somebody who's seen it firsthand. And at some point, we'd love to have you back on the Atlantic Sports Wire to talk about your role as the coach lead for equity, diversity, inclusion, and mentorship for the Canadian Sport Institute Atlantic. It'd be great to have you back on and talk about that as well.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Scott, and look forward to chatting with you again.
Absolutely. You take care. Have a good day.
You too. Thanks.
In Halifax, I'm Scott Squires for the Atlantic Sports Wire.